Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pixel Geek Smackdown. This is your host, Mike, and the other host is Ike. Say hi, Ice, and we're Mike and Ike's.
Oh, I thought my name was Dan.
I know, it's the candy. Remember Mike and Ike, the candies?
Oh, okay. I see where we're going with that. No one. I was getting you mad before you.
Did it click now?
Yes.
That is bad humor. I do not apologize. That is what you're in for.
Yeah, he never apologized for anything.
I apologize for some things. It really depends the situation.
Yeah, but do you mean it though?
50-50.
Debatable. Okay,
Yeah. Oh,
I'll give you that.
I will stab you in your toe. Um, so today we're going to talk about our top 5 Dragon Ball fights. Now, this is not just Z. This includes Super GT, Dragon Ball, and Z. We're excluding the movies for this one because that's a different fight. That's a different list. Shorter, much shorter. But before we started on that, I wanted to know, Dan, how did you get into the series?
Oh, it's pretty weird.
It,
So, like, this happened in junior high. So this is probably like 2002, 2003. There was a week that I was sick from school.
right.
So I could like one of my parents went to Blockbuster, and they said that they were going to rent me something
Huh.
to keep me occupied while I was sick. I'm like, okay. I told them, I like fighting stuff, or if it's a movie, I want like horror or like action or something like that.
Right.
So they come home. I forgot if it was my mom or my dad. They came home with Dragon Ball Z Budokai for PlayStation 2. I'm like, what the hell is Dragon Ball Z Budokai? Because I didn't like. I kind of knew what Dragon Ball Z was from Burger King, because remember they had the Burger King toys.
Yes, I
Were
remember those.
They were like silver or something.
I have the Goku one somewhere.
Because I think I had like the Gohan and Piccolo, or was it Vegeta? I had one. I had one of those two.
You're like, I had someone, damn it.
Yeah. So anyway, I started playing it, and I got into it, and then we went to go visit family in Sacramento, and there was nothing to do.
Oh my god.
So we went to a Target, and they were still selling VHS at the time, and it was like the Kid Buu saga was the one where they meet Oob
Okay, that's the very end.
at that. So that was like my first Dragon Ball Z episode.
So literally your first Dragon Ball Z episode was the literal last of the series.
Yes, it was like the last 3 or 4 episodes or something like that.
Okay. I dig it. What a way to get into the series.
Yeah, so and then I started like looking into where I could see it, and on Cartoon Network they were still airing the Buu saga, and they were airing the King Piccolo saga too, and then they were coming out with the GT DVDs.
Yeah, it was a good time to be a Dragon Ball fan in the early
So,
2000s.
so with me, it's like all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, at least you got into it. I mean, at least it didn't like skip you by and you're just like, well, that's kind of boring.
So when we do Dragon Ball Z list, just get into your head that I saw it in a fucked up way, all over the place.
Yeah, I can agree 110%. Well, I mean, it's just like going back to I don't know how I'm gonna air this, but just going back to like our Star Wars stuff. The rankings with you are very interesting. Definitely
Yeah.
unknown. Like I don't know what I'm getting into, and I'm like, what I'm walking into yet with you. It's always interesting.
Yes.
I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying it's curious because you're one of the few people that I know that would rank things a certain way when I don't expect it.
I'm very random like that. I guess you could say I'm a random person.
You are very random, 110%. Yes, full stop. Let's.
So how you?
I've told you the story before, and I just want to preface this by saying that I was a stupid child. I still am relatively stupid adult. Nothing super different. I'm just older. So when I was super young, I used to visit my great grandparents a lot, like a lot. We used to go over there at least one every day for dinner usually. And in my great grandma's room, there was a small, like 3 to 5 inch black and white CRT TV. Like it was super small. And it was, I remember walking in and I wanted to watch something on the TV, but I didn't know what I could watch. So I was sitting there trying to flip through the channels and I saw Goku and Piccolo fighting Raditz, who at the time I didn't know because remember, everything's black and white. So I don't know who's who and what's what. Um, and it's the right before Piccolo charges for the special beam cannon in the very beginning, the first time. And it's in Spanish, which me and my infinite wisdom, me equates Spanish to Japanese because I was told that it's an anime and in anime they speak Japanese mostly. So I was like, okay, Spanish equal Japanese, good to know. And my next door neighbors were mostly speaking Spanish. I was like, wow, they must speak a lot of Japanese. So I remember going over to them at one point in my life and talking to them about it. And my neighbor's dad, who I was really close with, who I just recently saw last year too, for the first time in like a decade. I was talking to him about. He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "What do you mean?" And so I told him, and he's like, "No, no, 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 no." He's like, "That's Spanish, not Japanese." And he actually went and showed me the difference between. I was like, "Oh." And I was like, "Man, I'm a stupid idiot."
You're a little kid, so I would give that, like, if you were like, I don't know, like 10 or 12, then I would say you're a stupid kid.
I was like 6 or 7.
So, that's not your fault. But it's funny as hell, though.
I know it's really embarrassing. I don't like telling that story. In fact, I usually don't tell that story because I don't need the precognition that I'm an idiot right off the bat before I even really meet you. But so do you want to go first for your number 5?
Okay, so I saw all these fights not in order, so everything's like all backwards and
For,
upside down and side
forwards.
to side.
Okay.
So my one, number 5 for me is Goku versus Frieza on Planet Namek.
Wow.
So
Okay.
this is like Super Saiyan.
Right. Do you want
So it's like that fight.
do you want to defend yourself at all or no?
No,
You're not going to defend your pick. You're just going to be like, F you. If you have a problem with that, suck it.
pretty much. That's all I'm gonna say about all these fights. I think people are gonna give me shit for number 3, though.
I think people are going to give you shit for literally every single one.
You think people would hate that I put that as my number 5?
Probably because that's usually regarded as top 5. Like that's usually the first or third of the series that I've. Most people, when they give you the top 5 like fights, Android 17 Piccolo's on there, Gohan and Cell's on there, and Frieza and Goku are there. Those are usually the top 3.
Okay, it's probably because I didn't see it. I saw them out of order.
Um,
So go with your number 5.
Goku versus Piccolo Jr. from Dragon Ball OG. The very last like big fight of the arc of the series before we switched to Z. But I mean, I grew up watching it because I think it was around the Frieza, no, maybe Android arc that they started to show Dragon Ball, or maybe it was Frieza. It was right around when it really started to get popular. They're just like, hey, we have another series called Dragon Ball, and they threw that on there. I remember I loved watching the Goku and Piccolo fight. But I mean, I don't really need. I'm not going to defend myself either. These are our options, our opinions. If you have a problem with it, you make your own damn list.
Mm-hmm.
Your number 4.
Teen Gohan versus Cell, the Cell games.
Wow. Okay. Usually the top 3 fights are 4 and 5 respectively. Interesting. Mine is Goku versus Master Roshi / Jackie Chun at the World Tournament, the first one. Very, very first one.
That's a good pick.
I mean, a lot of mine are old.
You're gonna pick that one.
Huh?
I didn't think you were gonna pick that one.
I love Dragon Ball, man. Dragon Ball is my shit. I remember the other day I was browsing Reddit and people were complaining about Dragon Ball and they're just like, does it get better? And one person was like, this is boring as shit. And I was like, excuse, and let me tell you, the comments were not kind to that poor person.
Well, how did they start watching it? Did they start from the beginning, or did they stop like in the middle or the end? Or
They apparently, according to them, they had never watched Dragon Ball anything, and they started with Dragon Ball since they heard that was the best one.
mm-hmm.
And they're just like, this is pretty bad. And I was like, woof. And let me tell you, the comments, no bueno, no good. You're number 3, sir.
Okay, so this one I'm gonna get a lot of hate for.
All right, I'm ready. Give me the
And
negativity.
it's not really a fight; it's more of like a scene fight.
Uh-huh.
It's Trunks killing Frieza and King Cold.
I would consider that a fight. Technically, they threw
You know, when he
hands.
cut Frieza in half
Yeah,
and he pulled in the chest.
that's a fight. It's not a very long fight, but it's a
Because like I watched the DVDs then I started getting the DVDs and I was getting them out of order,
right.
and that was one of the first DVDs I got because of that.
It's okay. I
Of
liked
the
it.
Trunks.
Oh, I know what mine is. These are all going to be pretty. Mine are pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to defend myself on these.
Okay.
My number 3 is Goku versus Vegeta, Saiyan Saga.
Okay.
Like it gave us a taste of what was to come for. It gave us the Kaioken, the best beam struggle in the entire series. That's a hill I'm willing to die on. Yeah, it started, it started the franchise bigger and better. I don't think I need to defend myself. What is your number 2, sir?
Kid Goku versus King Piccolo.
Wow, your first Dragon Ball
It was
pick.
for me, it was because it was the first one that I saw like the whole build for.
This is a good one.
Yeah, it's like the whole was because I thought was probably the first saga that I saw all the way through.
Really?
Was the introduction from King Piccolo to Piccolo Jr.
That's kind of funny.
I know. So like I said, it's like all fucked up how I saw it. But like him just going through King Piccolo like that, like his mega punch.
Yeah, his Great Ape Punch or whatever.
Yeah. Like that's my second favorite fight ever.
Mine is Gohan versus Cell.
So like when he comes like badass with Super Saiyan.
Yep.
Kills all the Cell Juniors.
With one hit. Yes.
Yep.
So do you want a little tidbit? Like a little,
All right.
I don't think I've ever told you this either, but so when I watched Dragon Ball, like I watched it on TV, when it would come on, I would have to record it on a VCR because that was usually around the time that it was dinner time and I had to do homework. So I would always have to do my homework first and then like eat dinner and all that stuff. And then if I finished my homework ahead of time, I could watch the VHS. So the last episode I remember watching was when Goku quits and like has Gohan come in. And then my grandpa had deleted the save. Like, you know how you used to be able to pre-record the VCR to record at a certain time?
Yeah.
He got rid of that.
Oh shit.
I didn't know because I thought I was focused on school at the time and I was doing stuff, so I didn't even check it. And back in the day, you couldn't just go on direct TV and watch it online or whatever. So
yeah,
I didn't.
You had to stir the right way.
Yep. So I didn't have it.
That way a few times too.
So I from Gohan coming into the Cell games to Goku like I didn't see all the way up to where the very end of the Cell arc where Trunks went back in his time. So that entire chunk I never saw until I came over to your house and watched it in DVD.
Holy shit.
Yep. So that's that was a long time because I mean back in the day we mentioned this before, but we would go to Suncoast
Mm-hmm.
or FYI, I always went to Suncoast, but and the VHSs were $15 a pop. So my grandma was like, you can only get like 2 VHSs, so make sure they're good. So I have most of the Imperfect Cell arc. I have all of Frieza. Like I have a lot of them, but like those I could never find. They're always sold out. But yeah, that's just my little story. I thought you'd be interested.
That was an interesting story.
What is your number uno, sir?
Goku versus Vegeta Saiyan Saga.
Oh, so yours is first and I'm 3, huh?
Yep. It's just it's because Vegeta is one of my favorite characters,
Right.
and that was his biggest fight ever in the Dragon Ball Z series.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only one that he actually came out on top of. And even,
Well,
I mean, that's the one where he wasn't either dead or unconscious.
mm-hmm.
So
So he kind of won in a way.
yeah. So because remember, he lost. I would say it was a tie between him, Goku, Krillin, Gohan, and Yajirobe, and then he dies against Frieza. Huh?
I still can't believe he cut his tail off.
Yes, with the destructive disc of all things.
No, with the sword.
Oh, you mean Yajirobe? Then yes.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Vegeta cutting Gohan's tail off.
Didn't he rip it off?
No, he cut off with his version of destructive disc.
I'm trying to remember that.
It's Gohan is transformed into the Great Ape, and he's
I remember he was the ape.
And then Vegeta's just like, no, and he pulls like this like destructive disc looking thing and cuts his tail off, and he's like celebrating.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me.
Yeah, he's super excited. And then Gohan falls on him. But I mean, he dies against Frieza. He's the reason why Cell became Cell, and then he died against Boo, but then came back at the end? Question mark.
Yep.
So he doesn't have a good track record when it comes to Z.
Yeah.
And we don't even talk about GT because, whoo man,
well, he didn't really do that much.
He had a mustache for like the first half of the series,
and then he gets taken over by Baby.
Yep. And then he kills Nappa in Super 17, and then he almost dies against Omega Shenron and the Shadow Dragon.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then that's it.
Yep. So you're number one.
Goku and Frieza. I mean, it's the longest anime fight known to mankind. It's where Goku turns Super Saiyan. It's 5 minutes equals 10 episodes. You know what I mean? It's
I like. Did you see that like when they first were airing?
Yeah.
That must have been like really painful for you because you would have to wait the next day for it, and or like the weekend.
Usually, so a lot. If I remember correctly, I could be completely wrong, but what I remember they did was they had it. They released it, and then like right after Goku turned Super Saiyan, it took a little break, and then they did like a marathon of it afterwards, of like the end of the fight.
Because for me, I just got the season.
I mean, I still have the VHS in storage. I remember watching the VHS putting together Legos. But I mean, Goku turned Super Saiyan completely flips the series on its head. Do you know why Goku went Super Saiyan? Like the behind the scenes reason?
No, I don't know the behind the scenes reason.
Akira Toriyama, the mangaka, got tired of coloring in Goku's hair and said it would save a lot of time if he turned it white, because in manga it's black and white. So,
okay, that's why.
Yeah, so he goes Super Saiyan because he's just like, yes, he's yellow, but in the manga he's white, so it's like, yes,
save me some time.
Yes, which is really funny. But yeah, that's my list. I almost included a movie fight, but I thought we could probably do a different list for that because that's an even shorter list, I'm sure.
Yeah,
because a lot of those fights in the movies are pretty bad. There's only a couple that I really like the Gogeta versus Janemba fight, if you could even call it a fight. He punches him like once, then kills him immediately.
Kind of like what would be like my worst fight out of the movies? I think I would have to think about it. But I think my favorite's probably either Brawly or King Cold. I mean, Cooler.
Cooler? Which one? Which cooler?
The first one.
Where Goku current, where Goku becomes Jesus and gives his energy to the bird.
Yeah,
So, do you have the original VHSs of those, or do you just have the DVDs?
DVDs.
I don't know if the DVDs and the original DVDs actually kept like, because this was around the early 2000s, so like alt rock was super popular.
Hmm.
One of them had Disturb in them, the band Disturb. They
Mm.
had Change. I think it was Cooler, but I don't remember. I had, because on the VHS they had it because it was licensed, but that was 20 years ago. So
Yeah, the movies I saw out of order too. The first movies I saw was Lord Slug, The Revenge of Cooler, and the Cooler Returns. Because remember they had the
yeah,
3D set.
yep.
Yeah, I remember getting that at Suncoast.
I had my very first one was Garlic Jr. Dead Zone. Uh,
Those I saw like way later.
and I'm sure nowadays like they don't hold up very well, except the animation.
Yep. Well, like when we do the ranking, people are gonna be like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
Oh yeah. I will say, uh, if you remember the original opening for Dragon Ball Z on TV, The Rock the Dragon,
Hmm.
90% of those opening came from the movies. Like a lot of the animation and the fighting came from the fucking movies, which is really funny to me.
I wonder why.
Probably just because that's what they had at the time. Because
Uh,
the original time that we got Dragon Ball Z dubbed was the Ocean dub, and then it wasn't
mhm.
until like episode 27, 20, or it was, I think, right after Ginyu or right around Ginyu that they switched to Funimation, like the people that we know,
Okay.
and then that's been like that since. So because it was too expensive to have people fly in from Canada down to Texas. So they said, "Screw that! We're doing our in-house one."
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. That's really it. I mean, well, you'll have to look forward to our other Dragon Ball Z reviews because I'm curious what you would say about some of them. Because, good lord, your tier lists are interesting. I feel like my tier lists are pretty generic. I mean, there's probably
But
a
I
couple.
watched everything backwards.
You really
If I
did.
would watch it the right way, who knows what I would feel about it.
I mean, it's gonna be pick a tier list of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You'd be like, I don't even know half of them. You're like, I know Blue Eyes.
Yep.
You're like, I know Red Eyes and probably Dark Magician.
I think that's the only ones I know.
You don't know Time Wizard or Baby Dragon?
I probably like I would have to look at them.
You're just like, ah, yes, these shitholes. But yeah, I mean, hopefully you enjoyed that brief little bullshit. Uh, I don't know when the next one will come out, but hopefully you enjoyed. Subscribe, like, follow, thumbs up, download. I don't know, stream. What else do you do with these days? What is there like? I think I said that
Well,
already.
I think you did too.
Share do people share shit still, or is that gone?
TikTok. If this is on TikTok,
Follow me on MySpace. I don't know, man. I don't know what's still popping. I'm old.
neither. Do I.
But thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.
Later.